The September 24th, 2024 meeting of Henderson County Fiscal Court. We are really glad you're with us today. And for those watching online, we are glad you are with us as well. We have invocation, as we always start with a prayer, and joining us is Jason Cowan from Bridge Church. Jason, would you lead us in invocation?
Let's pray. Lord, we love you, and we just thank you for this day that you provided. We thank you for the rain and all the things that you give to us. And Lord, we just pray this morning for the men and women that lead our county, that you would give them the wisdom, the knowledge to know exactly what to do, how to do it. We pray for the citizens of our city and the county, that, Lord, that you would just continue to bless. Lord, we thank you this morning for this young scholar, Tanner, that's here this morning. I pray that you would always just lead him and guide him. We're thankful for his family and the teachers from A.B. Chandler and the teachers that are working so hard throughout our school district. And we thank you for everything you provide for us. We know you know what we need before we need it. And I just pray that you would always give us the wisdom to follow you. We love you in the name of Jesus. Amen.
Amen. Please join me in the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, Jason. Madam Clerk, would you please call the roll?
Magistrate Starks is absent. Magistrate Berry.
Here.
Magistrate Southard.
Here.
Magistrate Tompkins.
Here.
And Magistrate Putman.
Here.
Thank you. You have in your packets, gentlemen, the minutes of the September 10th, 2024 Fiscal Court meeting after a period of review. I'll entertain a motion to approve those.
So moved.
We have a motion and a second. Any other corrections, clarifications, or additions? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? As Jason mentioned, we have our Judges Scholar with us today, and it is Tanner Hagan from A.B. Chandler Elementary School. And I would ask Tanner to come up and meet me right in front of the dais here. We're going to read a resolution from here on.
All right. Whereas Tanner Hagan has been chosen by A.B. Chandler Elementary School to be the recipient of the Judges Scholar Award for exceptional efforts in both academics and school activities, and whereas Tanner's hard work and dedication in making the most of the educational experiences and developing positive relationships with teachers and other students will lead to future success, and whereas success is measured in many different ways, whether it be passing a test, scoring the winning point, achieving a particular goal, or taking the necessary steps for overall improvement. And whereas the Henderson County School System could not let Tanner's efforts go unnoticed, and whereas Henderson County Fiscal Court supports the school system and acknowledges these accomplishments as being significant because students such as Tanner Hagan will be our future leaders. And now, therefore, I, Brad Schneider, County Judge Executive of Henderson, join with the Henderson County Fiscal Court to proclaim September 24th, 2024 as Tanner Hagan Day.
I'm going to get pictures. Paparazzi's waiting. Got to balance it out there. Yeah. Big old crowd.
We were just letting the family say.
Hang on a second. Did you get a couple pictures just then? Tanner, this is one of the biggest crowds we've had.
Yeah, you got to go wide angle on this one.
He's a very honorable child.
Now everybody in the courtroom.
Congratulations, Tanner, and congratulations to his family and also representatives of the school. We're glad you're with us. And now the fun part starts. Tanner gets to watch the sausage made, as it were, sitting next to Steve Gold, who probably give him color commentary all through the meeting. So congratulations. Here we go. Our friends from Animal Control, including Melinda Whitlock, are here to give us a report and to make a request.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Thank you for having us, of course. I'm actually going to let the Animal Control present what they have prepared first. I believe you all met Officer Moore before. This is Officer Miller. She just joined us recently.
I'm Officer Moore, I'm with Animal Control, and we was going to make a proposal to the fiscal court today for Taser 10s for our safety and, for what's going on out here, to protect ourselves not only from animals, but from people too. We feel that it's the least lethal thing that we could use to protect ourselves out here. We could actually be trained and become a training officer through this, which we could offer this program to other people in the area. A lot of people do not have Taser 10s as far as police officers, but this is the future. This is what they will go to. So I have something written. Sorry, I'm out of breath. I kind of rushed up here. So Taser 10 will assist and protect ACOs when in danger against violent or dangerous persons or animals. The Taser 10 is equipped with a 10-shot magazine carrying a maximum distance of 45 feet, which the ones that they carry now are around 25 feet, with 98% accuracy rate. The T10 has a maximum of 1,000 volts, shooting 250 volts per probe up to 4 probes. 3 subjects or animals can be shot at the same time for control. So you're not shooting like the old tasers where it comes out in a V pattern. These come out in a straight line, which if a dog or something's coming at us and we need to protect ourselves, usually that first shot, and it hitting them will maybe scare them off enough where you don't have to hit them again or anything like that. But most surrounding counties carry a taser in Kentucky for protection. The T10 is by far the most efficient and accurate of all tasers. The T10 is manufactured by a company named Axon. Axon supplies most law enforcement officers all over the United States. Henderson Sheriff's Officer Anthony Willett recommended the company that they use. Axon would waive the cost of $7,000 for training if Henderson Animal Control would purchase 3 units at $17,123. And that sounds high, but compared to, I guess, the rest of them, that's pretty good. That's tax exempt also. That payment would be spread over a 5-year period at 1% down at $170 at a monthly rate of $285, or $170 and a monthly rate of $285.39 a month. This amount can be paid off whenever due during the 5-year period. This company does not charge interest rates. All practice shots, duty shots, broken parts, or replacement parts are completely taken care of through the 5 years without question. They replace everything. Anything broken, you can send it back. All your practice shots, they'll send you those. Anytime you use the taser, they'll send you a new shot for that taser. Once the contract is signed, it will take 3 to 4 months to receive the unit. After the unit is received, a 2-day training period would need to be completed that is paid for by Axon. An ACO officer at the Henderson Animal Control would then become a training officer themselves with the ability to charge surrounding agencies for training up to $2,000 per person. And like I said, there's not a lot of people or agencies out here that have this Taser 10 right now, but they will go to it eventually. Furthermore, we as animal control officers have nothing to rely on in a vast expansion of the entire county. Whether in the city or the county, we are everywhere in all types of situations. It will be hard to get to a cell phone to call for dispatch while trying to defend ourselves against whatever unforeseen circumstances that may occur. You have the peace of mind of protection in a world that is unpredictable and scary is vital to the ACOs. Hopefully no one will ever have to deploy the energy device on anything or anybody, but what if it's too late? I ACO John Moore feel that the cost of the T10 with all that it has to offer is the right direction. I would rather show up to a vicious dog that is trying to attack me or one of the ACOs and humanely subdue the animal or person rather than pulling the trigger on a gun and face the effects of my actions forever after that. A breakdown of the payment system of the T10 user manual is included. ACO Moore and Director Whitlock is the direct contact with Axon and have reviewed a PowerPoint video with the sales department, and any questions can be directed to me or Officer Ashby or Director Whitlock. If there's any questions about it, like I said, the full price is $17,123. If you pay that off, then they'll ship them out and they'll get them here and they'll get a training officer here to train one of us to be a training officer. I know as animal control officers, maybe past, we're trying to eliminate that past part of what was believed to be animal control. We have two good officers here. This is a deputy an officer that came from the jail. She has a lot of experience at the jail. We feel that she'll be a good fit for us and work out for us. And me and Ashby, we're not going anywhere. We're going to stick around and we're going to make this thing work, and we're going to try to be pillars in this community for everybody to look up to and be responsible.
Are these, they're not just for animals then?
No, they are for people too,
They're for
yes.
both.
I mean, it's just like an officer would carry, but it has 10 shots instead of the 1 or 2 discharges. And they come out in a straight line at 45 feet
Right.
instead of the
My
25.
only concern is accuracy with it. Well, I carried taser for years and years, and also pepper spray. And I've sprayed many dogs with pepper spray, which that's easy to do. My biggest concern is accuracy with the taser. Dogs don't run in a straight line. They don't stand still like a human. They're easy to hit.
Right.
But a dog, I'm not sure. Have you thought about that?
Yes, I have.
And I've never sprayed a dog that didn't stop and take off ever with pepper spray. I'm just saying.
The effects that we think that our pepper spray, which we have some pepper sprays in our truck that we carry, we think that we have to control that animal after we pepper spray it. So we're going to have that pepper spray all over us. It's going to be all over the dog.
Well, that's true. I didn't think about that. That's true.
But the T10 with the 95% accuracy rate, I mean, like it's the best on the market, where the other ones are at like a 70% accurate rate and they come out in a V. So if I have a dog coming out at me, I hope maybe one prong will hit him, but usually they'll come out like this.
Yeah, one prong goes straight, one goes at a
that one prong goes
45-degree
straight,
angle.
and
yeah.
the other one's probably gonna hit the dirt, with our angle of the dog.
That's my only concern is
Yeah.
accuracy. I mean, I think it'd be tough hitting the dog with them every time. I don't know. I've
I
never
believe
done
if
that.
we hit it with that first one, he's gonna yelp and turn around and go back. But
Well, I
it's
was gonna
that
say, the
accuracy
pepper-
rate at 45 feet
Yeah,
too
when
that
we
gives
use
us
pepper
that.
spray on a dog, they're gone, but you want to catch the dog, so that's
Yeah.
not,
Yeah.
probably, maybe not be
Yeah, I can't-
feasible.
I can't leave it out there to.
'Cause they're gone.
If they're vicious and coming after me, I want to get him. I don't want to leave him out there for a
That
kid.
was
or-
my question. I wondered
Yeah.
about the.
Any
the
other
accuracy
questions?
of
you
it.
guys?
Other than pepper spray, you don't have any form of personal protection out there.
We have nothing. No, nothing at all.
And I think we all understand that people can get emotional and for many reasons. And you made a good point about the fact that they are not only responding in the city, but out in parts of the county where it'd be hard to get help to them if something goes wrong. So
Yeah.
now, is your intention to pay for this out of your current budget, or are you asking the court to help fund this?
You're asking the court to pay.
Okay. And the contract, would that be between the county and this company, or Humane Society and this company?
We could go either way we'd like to go, considering if you would help. I would prefer it to be Humane Society and the Axon, but either way would be fine.
Well, it's simpler for us if it's contract between Humane Society and the company.
That's what I assumed it would be easier for us to actually handle.
Yeah. Any questions about,
What about the liability?
we have insurance and they have insurance.
With
Want to
us,
come up here?
With us being trained in the gun, the liability I think may go down, because if we do get hurt out here, the compensation for us to get hurt may be greater than.
I'm not so concerned about y'all. I know y'all are covered, but I'm talking about somebody suing us.
Yeah.
Currently, the Taser 10 is, go ahead. Currently, the Taser 10 is considered a deadly weapon, where the generations before that are an intermediate weapon. So you open yourself up to a different set of liability, because it's as if you're carrying a firearm.
Right.
So that's the reason you don't see a lot of law enforcement agencies going to the Taser 10, because you'd have two deadly weapons at your disposal. So that's the reason. I mean, that's one of the drawbacks to the Taser 10 from the law enforcement perspective, is it's considered a deadly weapon currently.
Is animal control, across the state going this way? Are they using tasers or?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir, they are. We've contacted multiple agencies, and we've narrowed it down to maybe, I think there's 26 of what we could get a hold of, and the ones that would call us back that have gone to tasers in Kentucky only. Some others have done other things, it's like being on the CAD system and having access to that, and having officers where they can get them there, stuff like that. But the Taser 10 is what they're going to. In an unpredictable world right now, things are changing. We have nothing. We're going out there to meet 95% of people in Henderson alone have animals. I mean, anybody, you try to think of somebody in here that that don't have an animal. I know nobody. I think everybody has a dog or something. And, hopefully we'll never have to use it, but if we did, we'd have it, rather have something, and nothing ever happened, and not something happened to me, never have nothing. I mean, that's the way I look at it. Of course, I know the liability, we need to do a little bit more looking into insurances, things like that. The reason why it's considered a deadly weapon is because it shoots a charge as like a powder bullet or a cap, instead of the old Taser 10s that shoot the CO2s and things like that. It's just a cap that fires it instead of the air.
So what other animal control agencies around the state are using these particular
I would have to, I don't want to
weapons?
give you any, I would have to go back and look. I know that we got a hold of a few of them and wrote them all down, but I'd have to go back and look and see.
Based on what the sheriff said, I was just a little
Yeah.
concerned about that.
Do you know, Chip, if you don't mind coming back? So these are considered a deadly weapon by who? By the,
But right now, it'd be by the court. I mean, everything is established by some sort of appeals court. I can't cite it, but I know that if the conversations that I've had is that Taser is pushing the Taser 10 as the next generation, but the professional trainers in law enforcement are saying there's no reason to have that and your firearm, because some court of appeals has said that it stands up to be a deadly weapon, where the previous generations are an ECW or electronic control weapon or device.
would then they require POP training to use?
No, not necessarily. No, it's exactly as he said, it just, the discharge is a different discharge than Taser has been using in the past. But from a judicial side, or legality side, is they see it as a deadly weapon. So it's going to be, the only time you should discharge it is if you're in fear of your life or someone else's life, as in resulting in death.
My guess is, from a statutory standpoint, if it is firing a powdered charge, and that is what's creating the projectile, is that then makes it a gun, that makes it a firearm.
Yes. Yep. The powder.
But without the
So
same
it's-
training
It's
requirements?
the same as a gun.
No, I mean, again, and Axon will come in and train you with it. But I just, for us, in the law enforcement side, it's not something that we're entertaining, because it doesn't make sense. It puts the officer or the deputy in a very precarious situation, because if they pull it out, they have to meet the same standard as if they were going to pull out their firearm.
That complicates this question. I
Now,
think
the others, and again, I understand it's new technology. The previous ones aren't considered. They're considered what they call an intermediate weapon, which is a less lethal type.
And Judge, I'm not opposed to stepping down on that. I mean, I just want protection. And if the
understand
old
that.
tasers is what would help us, then I can get that together too. But I understand exactly what he's saying, and with our turnover rates and things like that, who knows? But
let's do this, if you don't mind. Why don't you submit to us contract. Maybe we can research the statutory reference to this classification as a deadly weapon, so we can consider that. We'll have to make a decision on the financing if we want to go down this road. I think we just need to do a little bit more research, if you don't mind. The designation as deadly weapons a wrinkle that we have to think twice about.
Okay.
Also, what might be more appropriate is who the contract's between might be better, in some cases, related to Taylor's question about liability and.
I think we also need to look at the price on the standard taser
Yeah.
versus this, because, again, I just think we need to have very clear understanding of what our liability is going to be should somebody discharge this, and then who knows what you get.
We don't want to put your officers in a very tough
Right.
spot,
Right.
considering with the taser
Especially
10, or even any taser.
I agree.
Especially if that's considered a deadly weapon and something happened that the animal did die. At that point, that may put you in a liability situation where you just killed a, you see where this, see how this snowballs?
Yeah, I absolutely understand that,
The
but
biggest downfall on the tasers
if I
they
kill a
use
dog
now is
over my
the
life,
angle.
then that's,
That
Right.
dog is not, it's gonna be hard to hit a dog unless he's right on top of it, because it shoots at a 45-degree angle. Stop
Even
and
more
shoot
than-
straight, but that'd be hard.
Even more than the pets, though, it's human beings. And
Right.
it's not your intention to hurt anybody, it's to protect yourself, so. Let us review this. We're going to need more information, I would say.
I have one comment I would like to make. Liability aside, as it stands right now, when they go out into the county and use cell phone service, there's no way to contact them. So my greatest fear is that I don't know when to find them.
Yeah.
Because we have a drone on the truck. Right now, that's where it stands. I'm not going to know till the next morning if something happens to an officer.
Understood,
Sorry to
understood.
get emotional, but, you know.
It's understood.
It's one of them.
We just need to try to make a smart choice here.
Absolutely.
With that, with the safety of the officers completely top of mind, trust me.
Yeah, absolutely.
yeah.
I don't want to ever come to that.
Yeah.
and as y'all may know, people will get at you faster over that dog. They would defend their dogs or cats faster than they will defend their kids. If I come in and say, I need to take this dog or cat or something, we're looking at a real problem real quick. If I'm way out in Reed, or I got to wait 20 minutes for the sheriff with blue lights on to get there. I mean, things are going to happen. They're not going to wait to happen. That's just my conclusion.
I think that's where you may have hit on something there. Are you having issues getting law enforcement to back you up?
No, not at all. If I need them, I mean, I got to call them and I can get them there.
Maybe far away.
Okay.
I got to call dispatch, and then I got to call 911 if I have an emergency. But by the time they get there, it may be already over, and I may be dead or going to the hospital or whatever. It's just, I think it's the direction that the world's moving in. We need to move in the direction too to protect ourselves, and having nothing across all the animal control, then I think it's
And I'm unclear, you're talking about what somebody might do to you, and
Absolutely.
are these weapons that you're asking for, are they to use on animals or
Both.
people? Because it's not, now, if you're talking about people, I think that really changes the game from an insurance standpoint.
That's
and
where I
from a
was talking about the liability. I wasn't talking about the
Yeah.
animals.
I think that's, a different game. And Judge, just from a legal definition standpoint, KRS 527.010 defines a firearm as any weapon which will expel a projectile by the action of an explosive. And it further goes on to define a handgun as basically any firearm you can use with one hand. So these would be considered handguns if they're expelling their projectiles by an explosive. And I think that is something that definitely both the Humane Society's insurance company needs to weigh in on, and probably the counties, especially if the county would be specifically funding this. I don't think we would be able to say, oh, well, that's Humane Society's call if we're being asked
Right.
specifically to fund that.
I think we're going to need some more info, so.
yes, sir.
Yeah.
Yep.
And I'll look into the older ones, and just anything that would. Can you imagine us being officers and going out anywhere and going and knocking on the door of these people that they're not always? I mean, if I'm showing up, it's probably not the best situation. So
I get it,
just-
I get it. We just need to try to make the best choice here.
Yes, sir.
Weighing all
And I will
things.
get that to you. I promise.
Okay.
Do you want me to just bring it to your chambers, or?
Yeah,
Okay.
that'd be great.
Yes, sir. Thank you, guys.
All right, thank you.
Do y'all want to take a look at the binder for a while, or do we take?
Here. Does anybody want?
No, I looked through it.
I actually does have one. I gave them a copy of everything.
Okay.
Thank you, guys, appreciate it.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.
Thank you.
All right. Apologize for getting emotional.
That's all right.
So in your packet, you should have the numbers for animal control for the month. As always, I included the graphic as well as the data matrix. You'll see that we are still having quite a few running at large, but we're getting lucky enough that the stray intake is going down, so the running at large, they're actually going and finding the owners, because sometimes the animal has gotten out within the vicinity of their home. So they are returning them. And then we get some where, we go out there and they're nowhere to be found. They usually probably already went home. We have had an uptick in abandonment, which is kind of sad. Just like litters of kittens and puppies, mostly litters of puppies, just left. I believe there's one left near an intersection recently, a hound pack of puppies. So yeah, we have had an uptick of abandonment that we, that is kind of sad to see, but animal control brings them back in, we take care of them. We did have 26 animal control dogs this month that were in the Humane Society facility, and of course, we take care of all of them, We did have an uptick in the injured and deceased, and that is still the cats within the city, mostly where they become injured to the point where, their quality of life is in question. That's what your deceased and your injured are.
And be clear on that, we do not go get cats unless they're injured or...
Or deceased,
Yeah.
correct. Yes. And we're still notifying the public that they want us to come get all kinds of strays, and it's just not feasible. But we do come and get, speaking of cats.
Yeah.
They want us to take stray cats, and animal control, if they tried to take every stray cat in the county, we'd never sleep.
There's tens of thousands of them.
So, yes, absolutely.
They're wild animals for the most part.
Absolutely. I had previously reported that we had several welfare checks that actually went up this month or last month to 18. So we're actually getting the public support to call in and say, hey, I'd like you to check on this, where whenever I started there were 0. So it's nice that every month it goes up where people are actually saying, hey, can you check on this dog because it doesn't have food, shelter, and water. So it's actually really nice. They rely on animal control now, and we're happy to provide that service. The taser was the main part of the presentation, and do you all have any questions, or is there anything I can help you with?
On the wellness checks, you said we had 18.
Mm-hmm.
Was there, do you issue fines? Do you take the animal? What normally happens there?
It depends on the severity. But, because if it's really severe, we will call for, depending on who else is in the home. If there was a child in the home, we would call CPS. If there was an elderly person in the home, we called the elderly CPS as well. But it depends on the severity. A lot of times we'll go to the house and they'll be missing, food, shelter, and water, and we'll give them an increment of time, and we'll come back for that follow-up and make sure that is done. Because the object is not to seize every dog, not to seize any animals if at all possible, but to make sure those animals have the quality of life that they should.
Well, and to be clear on that, I think living in bad conditions is butting up against breaking state statutes on treatments of animals. So they can be found to literally be breaking the law when it comes to how they
Absolutely.
treat their animals.
Absolutely.
It's a judgment call in a lot of
But it
cases.
does depend on the severity. If it's terrible, we automatically go for, but if it's not terrible, if they flipped over their water dish, or if their tie got kinked up and they're not in the shade anymore, then, we'll go back like, okay, we'll come back in a few days and check and make sure that tie is still unkinked.
All right.
Anyone?
I guess just to be clear, I'm going to go back to the taser.
Sure.
Now, when you submit more information to us, are you going to look at something that's not considered a weapon?
Absolutely. I will.
So we'll
get-
see.
Officer Moore and I will get with the Axon people and look at different, because I was unaware that the Taser 10 was considered a deadly weapon. We have wanted to avoid that route. That's why we didn't ask for any kind of firearm. But we can look at other options, and I will get estimates for all of that. I will also contact our insurance company to see where we stand with it as well.
All right. Thank you, Melinda.
Perfect. Thanks for the work.
Thank you.
Thank you all so much.
Next, we have Missy Vanderpool and Abby Dixon and Clay Gillum representing Economic Development, Tourist Commission, and Chamber of Commerce with an ask about a new tool called Alpha Maps. Welcome, lady.
Thanks. Morning, I'm gonna pass out some info.
Thanks.
Thank you, Missy.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you.
There you go. Thank you for having us. The information I gave you is for a tool called Alpha Maps. And I've got Abby and Clay here, and I'm going to let them speak about how they feel their organization will use Alpha Maps. But Alpha Maps is a tool that was brought to us when we began discussions of retail recruitment. But as we learned more about Alpha Maps, we realized even outside of the retail recruitment world, Alpha Maps had a great benefit to all three of our organizations. And the really great thing about Alpha Maps is that you get 3 licenses with the tool. So Alpha Maps, just to give you a little bit of information, and I'm not the expert, but I can try to get an answer if I don't have the answer, but it uses cell phone data, anonymous cell phone data, so it doesn't know that it's Judge Snyder's phone. We just know the phone is a Henderson, Kentucky phone and where he's visiting, or where that phone is visiting, not him. And so it gets data to let us know when we have a big event, and Abby can talk more about that, where travelers are coming from, and I'm sure that will help her with marketing efforts and different things, is that it also will help, the way I see us using it at economic development outside of commercial or retail development or recruitment, is it also helps with labor market, so we'll know where people are traveling from, so what is our true labor shed. So the judge can tell you, as we're working on industrial development, one of the number one things is your workforce and your labor shed. So we see it as a tool to use for industrial recruitment, also with our existing industries, truck traffic. It does traffic counts, lets us know what our foot traffic is. It gets a lot of data for us at a pretty reasonable price, and like I said, it'll have 3 licenses. So I'll come back up for more questions, but I'm gonna let Clay and Abby speak about how they see their organizations using it.
Good morning, Clay
Good
Gillum
morning.
with the Chamber. We think the biggest value for this is going to be to our members. So we see that if we hold a license, any business that's a member, city or county, would be able to come to us and say, I'd like to see a report on where are people that are shopping at my business also shopping, or how far am I pulling individuals, what counties are they coming from, are they coming across the river? The detail on this is pretty fascinating, and the amount of data that we would be able to provide our members to help them with their marketing efforts, to help them determine what they need to be carrying, where they should be advertising. We feel like it's something that could be really useful and that we would be able to use as a member benefit and as an attraction for new members to be able to provide value for them in that way.
And when Clay says members, what I hear is existing businesses here in our communities. So it's not just about recruiting new, it's about helping existing businesses. So, yeah.
Abby Dixon with Henderson Tourism. So as you all know, we're charged with promoting Henderson County as a destination for visitors. So bringing in new money from outside of our community to support our local businesses and attractions. So the best way to market is with a plan that's rooted in research. So we have had licenses with a couple of different companies that are kind of similar in the past. We've worked with Arrivalist and Placer. Frankly, we've been priced out of continuing on with those contracts. So right now, the only way that we can get this research is a limited number of requests from the Kentucky Department of Tourism through their placer license. We would love to have access to this data every single day. So to tell you some real-world examples of how we've used data like this in the past, of course, Missy mentioned festivals and events. To be completely honest, especially with our wonderful free events, there's not a great way to really know. I think Steve could speak to that with the Handy Festival, Magistrate Barry with the Bluegrass Festival. We don't really know exactly where people are coming from and what those attendance numbers are. So it's obvious that it could be helpful with promoting those festivals. But beyond that, what we've done in the past, first of all, if we see that we're getting a lot of pings from Indianapolis, we can that's low-hanging fruit. So we know that there's something about Henderson that folks in the Indy area are interested in, because we're already getting those visitors. So we can get more of those visitors by upping our marketing efforts there. What's really cool about this, and Clay kind of touched on this, but something that we've been able to do with this type of data in the past, if we see, I'm just going to give an example, people that we consider visitors, so outside of 50 miles away, if we see that they're spending a lot of time downtown, but maybe they're leaving and going home and not going to Farmer and Frenchman, or maybe they hit that family demographic, and we want them to know, well, hey, did you know that there's Kate's Farm, Corn Maze, and Pumpkin Patch this time of year? We can serve ads through social media. This is where I realize it gets a little creepy, but it's good marketing. We can serve them ads by geofencing them in that downtown area where we know that they are and maybe they're not leaving, so that we can inform them that there are other things to do. Same goes, Ellis Park is a great example. Ellis Park is one of the top 3 tourism attractions in our 9-county region. So we get more visitors at Ellis Park than anywhere else, which is pretty incredible. So we want those visitors to know, hey, if you carry on your journey across the bridge in Henderson, there's more to do. So don't just come to Ellis Park and then drive back home. We can just better market our destination as a whole so that they spend more time and more dollars if we have that research and we know how they're moving about. So honestly, I don't know if Missy mentioned the price yet. If she didn't, I'm sure she will. I will say, based on the licenses we've had in the past, it's amazing to me what the pricing is on this and the fact that 3 organizations can share it. So that's it from me.
Anybody have any questions for us?
So if this is using our cell phone data, will, let's say I visited here, will it start popping up on social media things that, is it tracking that closely?
It's
or-
already tracking it. Whether we have this tool or not, it's already being used.
Right.
So it's not going to show up that Tim Southard, it's anonymous, so I won't know that the person that visited fiscal court 15 times on Tuesday was Tim Southard. And Magistrate Tompkins, you might have some information with your experience with.
I don't know a whole lot about geofencing and how all this works. That's my question. I know you have to have certain privileges, licenses, or accessibility to do it. Does it matter whether your location services are on or off? Is that going to skew your numbers? I'm sure it probably would, because I don't think you would have the ability if people have location services off. I'm not saying this is not a great thing.
Right.
It's exciting, but I'm just saying I think that's something to consider, and how much of a variance is that going to make?
Yeah, it uses more than just cell phone data as well. It uses property tools, the other data as well. And that's a question I do not know the answer. That would be a question for the Alpha Maps team. This just came to, like Abby said, we've all kind of talked about some of the competitors, and we as single organizations couldn't carry that burden. But when this was 3 license, that we could use all 3 of us, it was something we wanted to explore further. And it is going to be, it's each of our organizations will use it in different ways, which I think is really cool and help our community.
You know, location services on or off, we all know that large corporations and large social media companies find this data one way or the other, and they use it all the time.
Oh, absolutely. That's why I was asking if it was something that they for sure can do or cannot, because I know there's limitations on what you're supposed to do.
That's why if I'm searching on Amazon for a certain product and then I go to Facebook, bam, there's an ad for that product. How did they know that? So it's already happening.
Yeah.
It's already happening. This is just allows our community to use that same kind of.
When they gave the demo, for instance, they went into the Walmart Lowe's area and showed us, how many people were there, how many times they frequented it, what our daytime traffic counts were, our population was versus our actual population, which with our current members, as Clay said, and as we are recruiting, that's very critical data to have.
I really enjoy learning more about the advantage to existing businesses from this, helping our existing business
I agree.
owners and locally owned stores. So
That's where I was driving the conversation too. Are they using other, where if you're here and you're located, you're looking up on Walmart or Lowe's and you're going to go in, you put in that data. Well, if you don't say, don't use my data, then it automatically gets it that way. So that's why I was asking if it had the ability to do it in other manners, which hopefully I would say does, because listen, the illusion of privacy, that's what it is. It's illusion. So I think it's neat that you guys could partner together to use this.
I know Trace at the City Parks told me that they had some product somewhat similar to this that they use. Would this allow them to not have to have that subscription, or do you know what the situation is there?
I do not know.
Or had they not been sharing that data with you?
Okay, if I remember correctly, just from my conversation with Trace, and it's been a while, they had I don't want to speak for Trace, I feel like they had a free trial during the period where Placer was running that. And so they were able to see they polygoned all of the city parks to see how people were moving around. But I feel like.
you don't know whether they went ahead and paid for it?
Well, it would make sense for us to know who is frequenting our city parks and
Sure.
where they're from. So I think it might make sense for us to share that. And the city is a chamber member.
Missy, is this a one-time ask?
So this will be a one-time ask with maybe additional ask, but I don't ever want to limit myself to a one-time ask. Here's how we see this. So this is going to be in conjunction, as we said, with some commercial recruitment and other pieces with our existing. So this year, it is a non-budgeted item for all of our organizations. So that's why we are coming here. We will more than likely, if it's successful and we use it, we will look at how we can incorporate this into our budgeting in future years.
That's where I was also, because you know me, I'm all about trying to get data and numbers. So who would come back to us and say, hey, look, this is what it's done for us? Because I think when we see the value add, and I believe it would be there regardless, but who would help us see that, or how would we get that information?
So the three organizations represented here are going to have kind of a committee. Well, we are not kind of a committee, a committee with a few other people engaged. The county will be engaged in that committee, and we will be happy to come back and share that with you.
I think that would be cool.
And just so you know, this is part of a kind of a basket of tools they're looking at, and they made a request to the city as well to help, but that was over a $25,000 ask. In talking about this, my response was, well, we'll help some. And this was a piece of this that is important, but it's not asking us to do more than just help a little on the side, around the edges of it. So
Sure.
We feel that this is a tool that we will use for years to come, regardless of the other portions of the basket, as the judge referred to, that we've talked to with the city about. This is a tool that I think will be ongoing for us. So do you want the drum roll and the ask? The ask is $7,500.
Yeah.
Affordability is not a question. It's just a matter of our desire to participate.
I'm in.
But we need a motion to approve that.
So
ask.
moved.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. Any other discussion? And I'll work with Brenda to figure out the correct line item and take that out of.
Right.
Any other thoughts?
I think I'm gonna like it, because even though we've always heard these numbers of people coming in and stuff, and it's an educated guess, not guessing anymore. Now we're gonna know who's coming, who's not.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like that.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. All those in favor say aye.
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 Any opposed?
Thank
Be
you,
with
guys.
shortly.
Thank you.
Next item in your packets is our annual renewal with our health insurance consultants. And, you know, for many, many years, that company was Peel & Holland. Peel & Holland were purchased last year, I believe, by Hub, larger corporation. We still work with the same people. Hub provides them even more resources, and they are enjoying that. But it's time again to renew this agreement, and Steve has been in contact with DJ Story from Peel and Holland, a longtime representative that works with us. And Angela will tell you that DJ's a great guy, very helpful whenever we need it. We look forward to working with them. But we do need to renew this contract. However, this time around, it's with Hub. And they are still working with Steve on a couple dotting of I's and crossing of T's. But I think you have pure confidence that it'll be hammered out shortly.
I do.
Meanwhile, we need to put this in place. We have open enrollment coming up with our health insurance, and then a new insurance year. So we have a resolution to read. Unless anybody has any questions, you have a chance to read through the contract. Fairly standard with a couple things that Steve wants to ask them about. Beyond that, I would recommend to the court that we go ahead and renew, get that squared away so that we can begin open enrollment. Any questions about that? I'll have Angela read the resolution that Steve prepared for us.
Okay. Resolution authorizing county judge executive to execute insurance contract. Whereas the Henderson County Fiscal Court provides various health insurance benefits to its employees through a self-funded insurance plan. Whereas Hub International Mid-South is a health insurance broker that provides benefit advisory services to the Fiscal Court. Whereas Hub International Mid-South has acquired Peel and Holland, a company who has advised the Henderson County Fiscal Court on health insurance matters for years. Now, therefore, be it resolved as follows, that the Henderson County Fiscal Court hereby authorizes and directs County Judge Executive Brad Schneider to execute the employee benefits fee for services agreement. Furthermore, the County Judge Executive is hereby authorized to execute any and all other necessary and appropriate documents required to effectuate the intent and terms thereof.
Move to approve.
Second.
I would ask that motion just be subject to final legal approval. There are a
Amend your
couple
motion.
little
Subject to
tweaks.
final approval.
Thank you.
Second.
You have a motion and a second. I will remind the court and those watching that Henderson County government is self-insured. We are a approximately $3 million insurance company for our employees and affiliates, and because of that, having this consulting help is basically our administrative office, for want of a better term, and obviously negotiator with Anthem, our main provider. So this kind of help is very important to us if we continue to maintain self-insured plans. So, any other discussion?
Judge, I can tell you I just got an email moments ago from DJ Story. They've made the changes that I've asked for, so it is now approved as to form and legality.
Excellent. Love it when a plan comes together. We have a motion and a second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Thank you. We have received word from the city that they intend to annex a property adjacent to the city's landfill. And without looking at a map, I can only imagine this is the plot that used to be occupied by what was basically a scrapyard, if you can recall. I think that's probably the property, but I think we just have to acknowledge that we've received that notification. We have to pass a voice vote. I don't think we need a vote on it, yeah. With that, I'm going to call up Nick Stallings, talk about a bond release. L.E. Bell Construction Company was doing work for Boardwalk Partners on a gas line, and I'll let you take it from there, Nick, about the bond they posted.
Okay, this has been going on for a couple of years. At first, they were going to open cut Tim and Bethel and the intersection of Melody Lane. They want to open cut that, so I have a little bit of regulations that I want to go back with the same amount of material and what to do as far as laying back the slopes. They end up changing their plan and coming back through with boring it. Again, boring, didn't really touch the pavement, but bringing in the equipment they did. They were talking about bringing in some pretty heavy equipment, so I worked with Ellie Bell's, the company, as far as how we could, trying to suck off the load, so that way they don't have a lot of weight. So as it came in, they came in with a bigger truck, and they had a place where they could they could drop off and then kind of cut down the load. So with that, I put a bond on that section of the road they would be on, coming from 60 back to the intersection, and a little bit of work they had on Melody Lane to make sure that they had their work, and make sure we had enough money in the bonds to do it.
And to your satisfaction?
Yes,
it
and
is.
so they plated all the structures that were close to the pavement surface. That a way to help spread the load across the surface and across the structures, and they pulled everything out of the way. They grass seeded what they need to within our right of way, and they removed their plates, and there's no damage that's been carried onto the road. So with that, I was asking to go ahead and release their bonds back to the company, and since you all approved the bond originally, then I can ask for it.
Any other questions of Nick? Get a motion to approve the release of this.
So moved.
I'm sorry.
Second.
We have a motion, and a second. Any other discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Well, I got you. Do you want to give us an update on paving season?
Paving was completed as of Friday. They have a little bit of corrective work to do. I know we've got a lot of phone calls about some of the transitions and some of their pavement. They're working on that. They're trying to work on those transitions with some milling machines and some surface course to even out the actual transitions from old pavement to new pavement or the bridge ends. That's been kind of the main factor of all the call-ins. So that's what they're working on. We're coming back behind them, or we're coming back as they finish and putting on shoulders. So we've got shoulders to put on. So that's what we're currently doing now. Mason Landing's the first row that was paved, so that's the first row we're working on shoulders, and we're going to continue on through everywhere that they pave. We're going to complete the shoulders to help the drop off. So
Excellent.
Are we working on shoulders other than new blacktop too? Are we?
yes,
Okay.
yes, that is the reason why we bought that road widener the first part of the year. Now we're kind of done the biggest portion of mowing season, and then a lot of our ditching. We're kind of caught up on that, so we're going to start transitioning people over to start running the shoulder machine. It usually takes 3 trucks and an operator, so you lose a big crew doing the shoulder. So we try to supplement that in with work as we're completing ditching.
Thank you.
Yep.
Any other questions of Nick? Thank you. Appreciate it. You remember last meeting, I said that we were arranging to have basically a substitute teacher, for want of a better term, for Allison Consular, our occupational tax administrator, while she is going to be on maternity leave, and so far so good with her baby. But it's an important time of year for our occupational tax office. January, February, March, that's the anticipated time that Allison will be on leave. And Brent Hepner, who is our first full-time occupational tax administrator and who did a lot of great work in professionalizing that and putting in place systems to help get that work done. He, being a retired Marine Corps officer, had a lot of time on his hands. And he agreed to come back for 3 months. We're proposing for that $4,000 a month pay for Brent. He's going to work part-time or however many hours he needs to, short of the time limit that puts him into having us to take out health care and Social Security, FICA, things like that, or not FICA, but the state requirements. So it's cleaner for him. It's really fortunate for us to have him available. Again, January, February, March, tax time is a really important time for the accurate collection of occupational taxes and making sure that everybody's treated fairly. And to have him available gives me a lot of peace of mind. So, but we do need a motion to approve that hire.
So moved.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any other questions? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Thank you. Nick, you want to come back up? You have a hiring request?
We've got a individual we'd like to hire for truck driver, possibly moving into, he's got some equipment experience. So we try to bring everybody in as truck drivers, and then depending on how they want to move up and what their abilities are, we kind of look at other options for them within the group. So his name's Chris Moore, and his pay will be $20.65, and then after his probation, and if he stays a truck driver, it's $21.15, and if he wants to move other light equipment operator or heavy equipment operator, then that would follow the suit and the rest of the pay.
Any other questions on that? We need a motion to approve that.
So move.
We have a motion and a second. Any other discussion? Chris is a local guy, I think.
Yes, yep, he's a little guy.
All right, we have a motion and a second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Thank you.
All right, one other thing is, if I can pull an audible, we need to buy a backhoe. I've been trying to check on what we're trying to find, and obviously it's above the $40,000 threshold. So I'm asking if I can go out for bids to replace. It's in the budget. It's a budgeted item. We're just trying to get a new piece of equipment to replace some of our aging equipment. So I'd like to go out for bid.
Motion to approve that.
I'll make a motion, go out for bid for the backhoe.
We have a motion and a second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Good luck. And Mr. Gold, you have a new hire.
Yes, sir. We have Melanie Hutchison. She's here in the back with us today. For any of you that have ever dealt with Field and Main Insurance, know what a rock star she's been with them for many years. She's now decided to come join our band, and we're asking that she be approved to be hired for the position of administrative assistant at the rate of $20 an hour, effective September 23rd, 2024. This is a budgeted position, and we think she's going to be able to do a whole lot of great things to help us out on our delinquent tax and bad check collection, among other things.
And we get a motion to approve that hire.
So moved.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Welcome aboard. Glad to have you with us. Next up, Jailer Bruce Todd gives a couple updates on things going on at the jail.
Morning, Court.
Good morning.
Sir.
Congratulations, Tanner. Nice-looking young man. I know your family's proud of you. Okay, so I guess you got a report before you. As our average population inmates, we've got a total of 513 as today. It's growing. We've has improved our SAP program. We've got 30 females now in our SAP program. That's up. We moved our females over to the RCC area, and it gave us some more beds.
For the court,
Freed
remind
up,
everybody what
freed up some beds for females.
and RCC stands for.
RCC is the other area, other side of the Sallyport. It's that's where we used to keep our male inmates. So we've improved there. We were, if you can see that we, the local and the DOC disapproved our SOAR program because we're overpopulated. As you can tell there, our bed's 466 and we got 513. Even though we opened up, made some more room for the females, that's for the SAP. So we're going to kind of revisit that and kind of appeal it a little bit and see if we can't.
So what was the reasoning there? What does one have to do with the other?
The SWORD or?
Yeah.
SWORD program is the another.
Oh, SOAR.
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 Yeah,
Okay.
sorry.
I thought you said solar.
Yes, SOAR program. SOAR. SOAR.
Gotcha. And what does that stand for?
That stands for supporting others in activity and recovery. Then there's another one called MORE, which is my recovery program. But we probably, I like, do all the programs we can to help them So, we're denied there, but we'll continue to look at things, of course, to it, our expansion. We're still looking at that. We've got a preliminary drawing, so I will give you all a copy.
I wanted to touch on that quickly, if I could.
Sure.
Jailer Todd has been very proactive in the potential of adding a wing to the jail, including getting some drawings done, and obviously that we haven't decided about that yet, but it might be an option in the future that's worth doing because the growing population, and especially if a good number of those added inmates are federal or state customers.
And we were potentially offered 30 more federal inmates. They were going to move them from another jail that I guess they was having a problem with, but I haven't turned them down. But
hard to do that, isn't it?
Yeah, it's hard to turn down that federal money, but we'd have to again make room for.
Yeah.
Right now we've got 192. Pay $68 a day.
How many county inmates we have?
We have 164.
Is that pretty average? Or we
It has been here lately. I mean, it's grown, but it's been staying around 150, 58, 160. And
So
you
has
understand
the
we're
rocket
county.
docket helped anything? Has the rocket docket, or whatever it was called, helped anything? Where they were trying to speed things
There,
along?
I know it's being taken advantage of quite a bit.
I think it has. It's not for every case, so
Right.
I think they've used it some, but like I say, it's not for every county inmate. And I understand we're a county jail, and
So-
we just.
When we take a county inmate, could that county inmate turn into a state inmate?
Most of what you see on that list as county inmates it's not somebody in there for, shoplifting or something like that. Most of them are actually charged with state felonies.
Okay.
And they're waiting, either getting to the circuit court or awaiting sentencing in circuit court. So a whole lot of the time that they're there, they're considered, for the jail's purposes, a county inmate, because that means they're on our dime because the state won't pay for them. But as soon as they get sentenced, they become a state inmate, and the state will pay for them. So that's why, when you think county, you're like, oh, they're in there for something, minor or whatever. That's your felony, strangulations, attempted murders, things like that. Those are going to be on the books as county inmates for weeks, sometimes months.
Yeah.
And there was a push in the last legislative session to compel the state, once these county inmates were converted to state inmates, to then reimburse counties for the time held while they were classified as county. That failed. That did not move forward. It's part of the challenge that county jails have now, is those costs and some of the time lapse, just getting to trial and getting it turned into a state case. As you know, jails across the Commonwealth are struggling. We're very fortunate that we have a professional enough jail of the size that could hold federal inmates that produce revenue for us.
Yeah, I've got calls from other jails that want to know how to get federal inmates.
There's a bit of a competition. But
starting to be.
That question, that very question, how long must they stay on a county's dime, and can the state not reimburse the counties for that time while they waited? That's an ongoing question, and don't know how that'll shake out. But I know the Kentucky Jailers Association is very involved in that advocacy work, as is KACO. So stay tuned on that. But it's an issue. It certainly is.
Yeah.
I didn't mean to interrupt.
That's fine. That's good. That's good. Good thought. Like I said, all jails, most jails across the state are fighting the same battle. And then we got a body scanner policy. I believe y'all got a copy. We tried a couple of different ways, and this seems to be the best way to use the body scanner. It's helped. We have found stuff in bodies, and little jean pockets we're the little watch pocket. There's been some drugs there, so it has helped. So it's,
Is this something that needs to be like officially added to personnel policy, you think?
It wouldn't be our
Right.
overall
Yeah,
personnel policy.
it's in
only
ours,
gonna-
yeah.
Just a procedural policy.
It's being added to the jail's policy manual.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
It's pretty much boilerplate though, right, jailer? Just the standard.
Right, just,
Yeah.
inmate comes in and single layer clothes, and we body scan them, then they get processed to the booking.
Any other questions on that? You want to move on to the new Genesis Jail and
Right,
Prison
next
Ministry?
is our, I had questions in the past, phone calls or seeing people out about where their donation goes to, and I did the best I could, assured them that, we was using our money, your money, but the corporate office was in Virginia, so I went back and asked Kenny about it, and he said they looked at, breaking away and going on their own. And I asked him to give me something for me to look at, see what that looked like, and I thought something we could do. I just want to make sure we can provide the inmates, care or the same process that we have been under Good News. So we decided to go out on our own, and we have a contract here which will start October 1st.
And jailer, New Genesis had been in existence for a while and
Yeah,
had been
right.
involved at the jail
Mhm.
doing reentry work.
Right.
Right, so with the chaplaincy services going under them, this will be bringing
Bring
those
them
two operations together for a smooth handoff.
Right.
Right, okay.
And this is the $40,000
That's
quarterly, in quarterly installments, or so is that
it's
$40,000 total?
total. It's 10. Yeah, it's 10.
And is that already in your line item where you?
Right.
have
We've
that-
already it's the same thing we were doing with the Good News Jail, Prison Ministry.
This mirrors the Good News
This mirrored, we
contract. It's
just
essentially a
kinda
find
mirrored.
and replace.
Yeah.
as far
And
as the
New
name.
Genesis is an established 401,
Right.
501c3.
It is. They've been in operation for a while doing reentry work.
Okay.
And I think Jailer
got
had
a board.
indicated a little bit of frustration with the idea that some of the money that was being spent here was going to,
Corporate. Yeah.
the Good News, out of town, out of state type stuff. And so this keeps things local
yeah,
with
keep
this
everything
organization,
local.
and going to be a lot of the same people that were involved in providing those same services previously will be providing those services now, correct?
Yeah, right. That's correct. Same volunteers, and they've got a board of 6 people.
So we do need a motion to approve the contract.
Right.
So
There's
moved.
a resolution.
We'll read a resolution here, sorry, jumped the gun.
All right, resolution authorizing Henderson County Jailer to execute agreement with New Genesis Jail and Prison Ministry for professional jail chaplaincy services. Whereas the Henderson County Jailer has a duty to ensure that chaplaincy services are reasonably available to inmates at the Henderson County Detention Center, and whereas New Genesis Jail and Prison Ministry has been developed to provide professional chaplaincy services at the Henderson County Detention Center, and whereas the Henderson Fiscal Court approves the recommendation of the Henderson County Jailer that the attached agreement be approved. Now therefore, it be resolved that Henderson County Fiscal Court hereby authorizes Jailer Bruce Todd to bind the county to the terms of the attached agreement with New Genesis Jail and Prison Ministry for the provision of professional chaplaincy services, and directs him to execute said agreement on behalf of the county, along with any and all other necessary and appropriate documents required to effectuate the intent thereof.
So we get a motion to approve that?
So moved.
Motion and a second. Any other discussion or questions? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed?
Thank you.
County Clerk Bernice Abner, your report, please.
Good morning, everyone.
Good morning.
It's good to see you today.
You
Nice
too.
to see you. Today, I have, for the month of August, excess fees in the amount of $129,825.18, and a total amount remitted to the county of $190,719.65 for the month of August.
Motion to accept those?
So move.
Motion and a second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed?
Can I talk about elections?
Sure.
Okay, thank you. Everybody knows that the election is coming up, and I have information that I passed out to you all, the little cards. We will be mailing postcards out to all registered voter households. Those should be coming out within the next week or so. Just letting everyone know all of the voting options, mail-in, in-person, absentee, in-person early voting, and election day information. So if you, have any questions, your constituents have any questions, please give us a call. I'm going on Speak Up. We're putting things in the Hendersonian, trying to get the information out there to everyone we can. Busy time in the office, so.
Best of luck. We have the best county clerk's office in the state, as far as I'm concerned.
Thank you.
Our administration of elections is outstanding.
Thank you. Any
Get ready.
questions, let me know.
It's going to be a busy one, I think.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Mr. Gold, your report.
Judge, I've got several checks today. 3 interest checks in the amount of $197.04, $20.43, and $871.61. Health insurance reimbursement, $14,780.38. Flow through from the city, $458.33. Dental and life insurance, $550.17. Aflac, $161.84. And dental and life, another $13.89, bringing today's total to $17,053.69, and the total for the fiscal year to $67,872.40. And Tanner told me he'd never held $17,053.69 before, and this is just like being an adult. You're going to get it with one hand and then hand it to the government. Yeah. Good job. Well done.
Much appreciated, Tanner. Thank you.
Motion to accept.
Second.
We have motion and a second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Treasurer Ryder?
I have one transfer. It's a cash transfer from the LGEA fund to the general fund in the amount of $7,034.04. This is to correct an August 13, 2024 deposit error.
Motion to approve that
So
transfer.
moved. Second.
Motion and a second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed?
You've received your bank balances after paying claims today, and your day-to-day appropriation line items should be at approximately 25%. I do have some additional claims. To Randy Tassa, $737.70. This is for reimbursement of training expenses and is to come from the Building Inspector Training Travel Appropriation line. To CAECO, Kentucky Association of Counties, $2,625. This is for the 2024 conference registration, and it is to come $375 from the Judges Training Appropriation line, $1,875 from the Fiscal Court Appropriation Training line, $375 from the County Engineer Training Appropriation line. To Visa in the amount of $537.51. This is for miscellaneous Sheriff Department expenses, the majority of these coming from the Training Appropriation line. From the Road Fund to Scotty's Contracting and Stone, LLC, $825,200.39. This is for paving and is to come from the Resurfacing Blacktop Appropriation line. From the LGEA Fund to Scotty's Contracting and Stone, LLC, $300,000 for paving and is to come from the Resurfacing County Roads Appropriation line, and this was budgeted. From the Jail Fund to Republic Services, $757.71. This is for monthly services and is to come from the Contracted Services Other Appropriation line.
Move to pay the claims.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Let me back up. Get a motion to approve the county clerk's report, please.
So move.
We have a motion and a second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
I forgot to do that. Thank you, Brenda. Anything else?
That's it. Thank you.
All right. Anybody in the audience have anything for good of the county? Looks like Nick is stalking us already here.
All right, Judge, you need to bring out your golden shovel. We're fixing to have a groundbreaking on Green River Road. So we need to make sure we have the paparazzi there and things, because we're going to make a groundbreaking. The Kentucky Heritage Agency is the only one that's got to check off on approving our land transfer so we can start Green River Road. So that'll make those guys happy who comes in on weekends and trailblaze a couple more trails, you know. So that'll help them have to get around our barricades. So and I tell you what, those guys could build a road with half a roll of duct tape, you know, and 2 boards that are broken. It's weird, but they can do it. So the Kentucky Heritage Agency, they put in some money into this, so everybody's got to get their okay to make it happen. So we're planning on starting, if we get that approval this week, we're planning on starting the first week of October, getting that built, and by I would say by the third or fourth week of October, we'll be having ribbon cutting. So that's all I got.
Always love Nick's reports. Missy Vanderpool.
I wanted to up Nick on groundbreakings. I have all the golden shovels you need if you need to borrow any. I did want to say, as soon as I sat down a while ago, I forgot to mention this. You should have all received an invitation to the groundbreaking for the distillery project on Monday, September 30th, 10 a.m. I hope you all can be there. Thanks again for all your support throughout that project, and just wanted to make sure y'all were ready to celebrate on Monday.
Are we going to have unique shovels to that event?
There are unique shovels to that event. They have copper, so we won't be using the golden ones, so I'll save those for Nick. But we will have copper for Copper Steelhouse.
I'm getting a nice collection of
Yes.
groundbreaking shovels.
You do get to keep your shovel.
Yeah, outstanding.
And I think many of you have probably heard we will have a special guest there from Frankfurt, so hope you all can be there.
Excellent. Anybody else for good of the county? I will say that we are often quite impressed with Nick Stallings' subtle humor. Master at slipping in the funniest line of the meeting. But he has a history of this. I heard it from a little birdie who gave me an example of Nick's sly wit. If you remember when Joe Biden visited the tornado site in Dawson Springs, Transportation Cabinet was tasked with much assistance in that. So they gathered up a meeting of KYTC leadership in District 2. Nick was helping in that regard. I don't think you were back working for KYTC yet, but they enlisted you. And they had a meeting with the Secret Service to go over everything that was going to happen. Oh, man. And at the end, the question was asked if anybody had anything else to say or any other questions, and Nick apparently leaned in and said, "Can our secret code names be cheeseburgers?" And kind of took everybody aback. I don't know whether you got your request or not, but that's Nick Stallings in a nutshell right there.
I've never seen a building full of CIA people and FBI, like, not even Pete. They were straight and narrow, and I was like, fuck,
Can our code name be cheeseburgers? That is possible.
Nick, if this falls through here with the county, you can take that stuff to Vegas. Make yourself a fortune.
Anyway, I bet you know who told me that story. So if there's nothing else for good of the county, we'll go around the horn, and I'll start with Magistrate Berry.
First this time, man.
Yeah.
Good. Thank you, Judge. Thank everybody for being here. Thanks, Tanner. Congratulate you and your family. You got that was a big crowd. I tell you, we needed 2 cameras, I think, instead of 1. That is the biggest family that probably we've had. So, good support. Good support. Where are you going to eat lunch? Where? Talkaholics, okay. Who?
That's easy.
Tim? Well, hey, eat all you can eat. But you got to remember, before you can eat, there's a you remember what all we talked about today? All the numbers that you did? Well, good, there's a test. Be sure to give that to him. I always say that, and I'm lying. I just always, I don't know, I just always say that, and everybody's like, what? Yeah. So you didn't get bored? A little? Yeah, I know, it is, but it's important things that we do, but some of it is. It wasn't too bad today. Thanks, Nick, for my Mason Landing Road out there getting the shoulders. I've had a lot of calls on that. And the lady at Sureway, even I can go back to Sureway now because we got her road done. She's washed her car. Tell me, let you know that. So there you go. I think all's good in one, Judge. That's it. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Gold?
Thank you, Judge. Things are going well in the county attorney's office, fully staffed now, rocking and rolling. We love it. Congratulations, Tanner. It's your day. You're the only person in the county that can say it's your day. And in order to get that, you were punished with having to sit on a very hard stool for a couple hours. But like Magistrate Berry said, what we do here a lot of times is may not be the most exciting, but it's important stuff. And we dealt with a lot of important stuff and some interesting stuff today. But congratulations, not just to you, but to the whole family. I mean, clearly, he's got a lot of people that love him and support him, and that's how he got chosen to be up here. So enjoy your day and realize that nobody else in Henderson can say that they have a day that today is named after them, and that's you. So congratulations, and I wish all the best for you in the future, and I hope you keep doing all the great things that you're doing. As you go to middle school, you'll be going to South, right? All right. Maybe we'll see you back here in a couple of years once South picks you, right?
That is happening.
All right. It's happening. It's happening. Otherwise, things are good in the county attorney's office, Judge.
Excellent. Magistrate Putman?
Oh, thank you, Judge. Tanner, congratulations. Where are you at? There you are. Listen, and I see why you're the scholar, because when you was asked, did you get bored? And you kind of, I've never heard anyone say that. Honesty. My point is he's honest, which is one of the criteria to be a scholar. But I talked to the family earlier, and I know they're proud of you, Tanner. I know them, some of them, and but you make them proud. And I love it when your mother said that you're her son. Now, you got a sibling, but that's the daddy's son. But congratulations, and wish you all the best, and all's good in the fourth.
Master Tompkins?
Thank you, sir. I had a full report on you last night sitting on my couch that you may or may not have known. You've got a fan. Your librarian media specialist thinks you're a rock star, so I knew today that we had royalty coming. Honestly, my wife couldn't say enough good things about your son. And it's important. I say this a lot, but I mean it every time. Obviously you understand the importance of being a leader and knowing that means doing the right thing when nobody's watching. So continue to be kind and respectful and doing all the things you're doing, because obviously it works for you. It's not always going to be easy, but congratulations to everybody. Love to see great young people like that. Still working on some solar stuff in District 2. Going to involve the judge and our county road engineer, but outside of that, everything is good in District 2.
Master Southern?
Congratulations again. We're going to go to lunch, so I get to talk to you a little more there. And know your family, known your family since I was your age. So it's going to be a pleasure having lunch with you. District 3, been getting lots of gravel, so things are good. Nobody's griping at me right now. So all's good in District 3.
Thank you. Tanner, I'll echo everybody's compliments. Congratulations. Big deal. And hang that proclamation in place of honor, hopefully. And keep up the good work. And enjoy lunch. And come back and see us. You don't have to wait till you're given a proclamation again to come back and see Fiscal Court. Good job. On Saturday, the Basket Volunteer Fire Department broke ground on its new fire barn, and that's a big deal for them. They've operated out of a fairly cozy group of buildings for many, many years, and wasn't always the most optimum situation for them, but they're going to enjoy this new facility that's right on 60. I heard the chief say during the ceremony that a good majority of their runs are back towards town or on the bridge, and so they are constantly heading west on 60 and coming out of Basket, roaring out of that community towards 60 was always kind of almost a dangerous situation at times, and a delay in their response a bit. So being able to pull right out on 60 and come towards their service area will help them and help keep them safer, people around the fire barn safer. So they were very pleased, and as I was listening to the speakers, it occurred to me that that was exactly the reason that we took the time and made the effort to explain to the community why putting VFD dues on tax bills was an important step, because now all the departments have a more dependable annual stream of revenue that they can depend on, and banks recognize in order to get any loans needed to improve their facilities. And the Basket project is being financed by a variety of monies, but every time one of these happens, and we've had several volunteer fire departments add on to their building or improve their building or buy big equipment, that we did the right thing. And every year, as Kurt Wiesen will attest, during the time where folks can opt out of those fees is always interesting for us, because people come in and give various explanations as to why they're opting out. Some of them just don't seem to understand the importance of volunteer fire departments in the community. And that's unfortunate. And that's part of the reason why, before we passed that measure, only 25% of county residents were actually making contributions to volunteer fire departments, which was not enough. Now that number, we estimate, is up over 70%. So that's a big deal, and that is allowing these improvements to happen. So I expressed to more than one member of the department that I'm proud that Fiscal Court, both then and continuing to support the volunteer fire departments in this way, is really making a difference. Certainly, they got a lot of money from Fiscal Court in the last year, 18 months, for various uses, and they appreciate that as well. So it is one of the biggest bargains in our county that these folks are willing to do this for free, for no pay, I should say. It's not free. There's a lot of expenses involved, obviously, but for no pay, no compensation, other than helping their neighbor in the community. And first of all, that's a God's calling right there. Number two, if we had to pay for a professional fire department, as some counties do, the cost to the taxpayers and to Fiscal would be tremendous, and probably would involve tax increases. Guarantee you it would involve tax increases. So not only does it provide a great service, these volunteers, to our community, but they save the citizens a lot of money. That $55 per parcel dues fee is nothing compared to the potential good or the potential cost if we had to do something else for fire and emergency protection. So just got me thinking about all that. And if you ever wonder why working hard in government to make the best decisions, while they may always not be popular, Tanner, doing the right thing is important, and explaining it to people as best you can. So just want to throw that out there. With that, I have nothing else, and I will entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. All those in favor can leave.